Oh, I forgot one thing. So hi, welcome on in. This is the Ashen Workshop, and normally we talk tabletop RPGs. Sorry, this is gonna fence around for a second. There we go. So this morning we are going to do something a little different, at least for the Ashen Workshop. We are going to talk Magic the Gathering, because it's kind of my other hobby besides tabletop RPGs. So, what we're going to do today is build a deck. I had previously built something similar to this deck, and I'll talk about what changes I wanted to make. And we'll also I'll show kind of what my research method is when I start thinking about deck design. This is all in the Commander format, and I apologize in advance. I will be having breakfast because I had to dig my car out of the ice to go get coffee this morning. That's what I get for running out of milk, so you know. But yeah, that's the plan, and we're planning to go for about 2 hours, and we'll see how far we get in that time. So, starting off, look over here, and the first thing you need to do with any Commander deck is to think of your idea. Now, this could either be a concept that you want to try out. Say, I want to make use of zombies' exploit effect, which is whenever they enter the battlefield, you can sacrifice another creature. If you do, they do something. Or, in the case of today, you can pick a commander that you really like and build around that. So I'm going to dig out the one I'm looking for. He's in here somewhere. A couple of these I'm going to start pulling out just so I have them in advance. But they're not the commander we're picking. That's the biggest thing. Here he is. Alright, and then... Sorry about that. I'll also pull the other commander from that deck so we can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. Sure, that's all I wanted. So I think that's... Okay, let me look at Ebon Death, who is pure black, so might be useful. It's a bigger creature, which is also nice. Oh, Ludovic. I knew I was forgetting one. So, yeah, this is kind of how we're going to start. We're just going to look through. I have a pile of just legendary creatures, and we're going to get an idea of what kind of deck we want to build based off of that. So for instance, Ebon Death is a zombie dragon, so might be useful to keep. There. So, commander we have chosen today is Wilhelt the Rock Cleaver, and I will making breakfast and placing bets with myself how many Liliana Planeswalkers wind up in here. So that comes down to how many I own, just to be clear. All right, so the commander we're using today is Wilhelt the Rock Cleaver, a legendary creature, which is a requirement for a commander, and is a zombie warrior. Whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have decay, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decayed. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie. If you do, draw a card. Also, he costs 2, a blue, and a black. So 4 mana total, which is pretty easy to get on the field in Commander. As long as you have at least a mana rock or something in your first turn. And the reason we're choosing Wilhelt is because I'm not sponsored by Ultra Pro, but I do really like their deck boxes. So we have a Wilhelt Rot Cleaver deck box with matching sleeves that I'll be using to make this deck. So, main reason he's my commander, but also I like the zombie tribal concept, and think it could use a spotlight here on the channel, especially since my mono black one didn't go over super well. Also, commander, thank you for the sub. I'm out of it this morning. I just read Liliana and I was like, what are you saying about my girl? So, we have a couple different cards here, and we're going to wait on these. I also have a pile of cards that includes stuff I just got, and some basic cards that you want to keep in tribal decks like this. So I'm just doing some quick sorting so we can talk about them. I'm going to start hitting all of my black. So I took apart my previous mono black zombie deck, and what was interesting about that deck was I themed it after the Tomb of Horrors, which is from D&D. The problem with that being I didn't have what I felt like was good card draw and countering. How many cards are permitted in a deck? So that depends on what format you're playing. Monk, I know you own a commander deck. You actually own this commander deck, Brondus. It is 99 cards plus your commander. The catch is that you can only have one copy of any card unless that card specifically says you can have more copies. So for instance, I have Vorpal Sword. I could not have another Vorpal Sword in the deck. Same thing with Charcoal Diamond, Deadly Tempest, so on and so forth. So, we have to think about what cards are most important and which ones we would like to see. Here you go. There's my Liliana commander. While I get through the rest of these cards. And you'll see why I'm sorting them here in a second. because I want to make it a little easier to walk through these and kind of what my thought process was. Land. Okay. Yeah, 100 cards including the commander. So it gets called 99 plus 1. Because you don't count your commander, because your commander is usually off by itself in the command zone, and then your deck is below it. Alright, let's see if this coffee's too hot. Nope, it was in the 19-degree weather long enough. So I've sorted these a couple of different ways. I have zero color cards, basically colorless cards is what I should use. These are typically in theme decks. These are your mana rocks. These are exceptions to the theme. So, like, for instance, I have a card called Bloodline Pretender, which I can actually pull up here for you. So it's a changeling, and so that means it's every creature type. And then whenever you play a creature of a certain type, it gets a +1/+1 counter. So it's just an easy card to put in for that reason. You could also get some things that you might not normally have in your color. So like black, for instance, I don't own a lot of board wipes. So I had this disc card in, which you have to set up, but it destroys all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. So that's all my colorless cards. I separated lands because lands, at least in this case, these are my non-basic ones. I'm probably going to end up including most of these, but we'll just see as we build. Planeswalkers are always different from normal creature cards because they have their own health value, but it is also how they do all of their abilities. So if we look at Liliana here, Liliana starts off with 5 loyalty for 5 mana. You can add +1 to that to create a zombie, and then you put the top 2 cards of the library in your graveyard. Now, you normally wouldn't want to lose cards in your library, but this deck builds around playing out of your graveyard since they're zombies. -3, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature is a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. And then finally, -7, so I really only need a +1 twice. Destroy all non-zombie creatures. And that's where it gets fun. So I had played this and basically sacrificed Liliana to do a board wipe and removed all of Red's humans and angels that were on the field, which helped me out a ton because I didn't have flying. So let's see. So our focus is on will help. I have a lot of black cards to look at. That is because, again, originally I built this as a 1-color deck, and the way you determine what colors you can include is based off your commander. So, like, for instance, my last commander was Acerak the Archlich, who is mono black, and that means only has black colors in the mana cost or in the text. So I can only use black cards when I'm using Acerak. Whereas Wilhelt, I can use black and blue because both are present on his card. So we'll keep that in mind. The part that I enjoy looking at, and we're going to kind of I'm going to try to walk through it as best I can, is getting to look at what cards I own. But before we do this, we're actually going to do a little research into Wilhelt. This is probably my favorite website to do that on. Is this just card sleeves now? Yeah, okay. that can go off to the side. This is EDH Rec. So EDH is the format we're playing. Elder Dragon Highlander. Only one may stand. If anybody got that reference. And along with that, this website basically takes everyone's deck list from various sites and builds databases out of it. So what we can do is we can go either based off theme. So for instance, we're doing a tribe, we're doing a zombie tribe. And then we'll see what the most popular commanders are. Oh, hey, it's Wilhelt, who just had a pre-con with him as the commander, so a lot of people want to use him. So we're going to try that out and add another one to this number. The other thing we're looking at, we're going to take a quick side to this because I'm going to look at the Commander Collection Black and what cards get included with that, because it's some reprints that may be really valuable to a deck like this. Ghoul Caller Gisa, sacrifice another creature, create X number of zombies where X is the sacrificed creature's power. So you boost up one of your creatures and then make a bunch of zombies from it. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you control no stakes, create a 1/1 black snake with Death Touch. That could be fun. Depending on what kind of deck you're running, it'd be nice to have some tokens that you can do that to. Phyrexian Arena, I've heard about a lot. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose a life. So I'm slowly draining my life, but I'm getting card draw off of it, which is usually pretty valuable. Reanimate, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. You lose life equal to its mana value. That could be fun, especially when Reanimate is only 1 black. So you can play that pretty frequently. Unless you're just really mana screwed. Toxic Deluge, as an additional cost to cast a spell. Oh, sorry, it's 3 mana, 1 black. As an additional cost to cast a spell, pay X life. All creatures get XX, minus X, minus X until end of turn. Basically, you can cause a creature board wipe with just this card. Longtime Magic players will refer to color combos by nicknames based on sets. Like Ravnica Guilds had particular colors. Blue-black is therefore Dimir, red-green is Gruul, etc., etc. Wilhelm is a Dimir commander. Yeah, that's another way to look at it. And then, depending on what you're talking about, like I look at green-black, and what does EDH Rec call it? Green-black is Golgari. I call it Witherbloom because that's the Strixhaven name for it, which was a more recent set. But anyways, Reanimate, Toxic Deluge, and then we get Soul Ring, Command Tower, and then, okay, that's just the tokens you would get. Soul Ring, Command Tower, pretty standard in Commander. Soul Ring is the mana rock. It's 1 mana for 2 mana. And then Liliana's, this is like her origin card, if I remember correctly. So it's what she started as and what she becomes. So she was a heretical healer. She gets lifelink whenever a non-creature token, non-token creature you control dies. Exile her and then return her transformed. And if you do so, create a zombie token. You then get Liliana, the Defiant Necromancer. Starts with 3. You can make each player discard a card. You return target non-legendary creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Or you can get an emblem whenever a creature dies, return to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. So, you watch all your friends fight each other, and then you get all their creatures. This is the main reason I want to pick up this pack, is just for Liliana. So it may be worth picking up normally, I don't know. Have to see what all the cards come out to individually and what I would be willing to pick up. But coming back to our theme, because I kind of jumped all over the place with that, we're talking Wilhelm. And you get a lot of cool data here. So like for instance, the average type distribution. Typically, you have 34 lands. That's your basic and non-basic. You have one planeswalker. Wonder who that is. You get a couple enchantments, quite a few artifacts, some sorcery, some instants. Your main thing, though, is creatures. And then the other thing you look at is what this mana curve is. So, looking at the mana curve, have a lot in the 3s. So you want to get 3 mana on the board as quickly as possible and then multiply from there. And then you have some bigger things that are probably there to help get rid of life totals or bring back a bunch of stuff at once. So then we start looking at what cards we actually have here. And this is the way these cards are set up. It looks at newest cards added. Usually this is the newest set, which was Crimson Vow. And it looks at how often these are used in decks. So usually the percentage is equal to the synergy. So 68% of over 2,000 decks use Necro Duality is a way to look at this. So it's a pretty good card for this setup. The problem I run into is that I don't want to spend money on a bunch of individual cards. So instead, we're going to take a look at what we already own and what we can include, and we'll go from there. For instance, I know I own a Headless Rider, and I own a Liliana, who we already see. And then there's a couple other cards in this set that I probably already own because they're from the pre-con that Wilhelm's from. Hi, Happy Campster. Welcome on in. We are building a zombie deck, is the plan for today. While I munch on a granola bar and have some coffee. So. So, we can spend a lot of time on this, but I also looked at a bunch of these yesterday in prep for this. And you want to keep in mind a couple things. You want to think about your mana curve. You want to think about your distribution of card types. So creature, land, instant, sorcery, artifact, enchantment, planeswalker. And you want to consider what kind of cards you need. So when we're talking creatures, do they have a functionality or are they just big? And then when it comes to those instants and sorceries, what do they actually do? Oh, enjoy the calls, Commander. I hope they go well. Let me know if you need anything. I'm available most of the day. I just have a call at 1 for a session 0. Or noon your time, 1 me. But enjoy your lurk. So, I've kind of already done the research on this, and we'll talk about cards as we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with multicolored cards. So, and the reason I'm doing that is because I don't have any here because my previous deck was mono black. So we're going to... All I'm going to do, and let me switch back to spell table. All I'm going to do is go through here, and if I see a blue-black card, I'm going to pull it. And some of these would be fun if I had one more color. So... I also had just gotten a bunch of Modern Horizon 2 cards, so I'm assuming we're gonna see a few of those in here. I can also tell where I'm hitting a pre-con we've deconstructed because it's all the same color. Kind of like right now. Alright. Oh, there's Domin. And then some of these I'm pulling knowing I'm not going to use them, but it may be good to look at them for other concepts, if that makes sense. Hey, Atlas, welcome on in. Yes, we're doing, so we're just building, we're building a deck is all we're doing. If, for those who like to watch us play here on the channel, we usually do that on Wednesday nights when we're not running a tabletop. But yeah, right now I've been wanting to build a new zombie tribal deck, so I'm pulling out the cards I need for that, and we're just kind of hanging out and talking about it. And if I see anything really interesting off the bat, we can dive a little deeper. Equation. Oh, this should have been, that should be in my commander lineup. I'm a little surprised I am actually missing the rogue class from the Forgotten Realms set, which is blue-black. I think that has card draw on it, so that might have been useful. So essentially all I'm doing is now we can take a look at what multicolor cards I have. And I'm going to try to remember to pull these up as we go. So Blade Stitched Scab. Sorry, something. Hey, Henkaido, can you explain a little more how you were selecting cards from the deck? Yeah, I went over it a little bit, but I can run through it real quick. So I had already picked my commander, Wilhelt, who's from the pre-con from Midnight Hunt. And I wanted to basically take my mono black zombie tribal and upgrade it into a Demir set. So I went on EDH Rec. I'm looking at kind of typically what other people are doing for this deck, and that really falls in line with what I did with the mono black. And then I'm looking at the mana curve. So the mana curve shift over the past 2 years or so based off what I was reading. So really we're heavily in the 2 to 3 range on a lot of these cards. I then just look at what I own that's used in a lot of these decks. Like I own Rooftop Storm, Diregraph, a lot of these cards because they're all in his pre-con. And then I'm basically just going through my collection, pulling whatever I think could be useful, and then narrowing it down from there. So, for instance, I look at the Forgotten Realms set and pick a card like, oh, my camera gave up on me. Okay, reset that real quick. So yeah, looking at stuff like Mono Blue I have a Serum Visions card, which is draw a card and then scry 2. which could be nice for 1, drawing a card, and 2, kind of setting up my next 2 turns. And then I reference a lot the Command Zone video, how to build an EDH deck. Because it gave a very simple breakdown of like, this is about how many lands you need. You could use X number of board wipes. I think they say 2 to 3. You need this much card draw, this much mana ramp, and then kind of build it around your design. I see you're doing this for a commander deck. Do I do similar streams for standard? So I don't typically play standard. If I'm playing standard, it's on arena. I haven't played a ton recently. So I am primarily commander because I picked up Magic again in the middle of the pandemic. So what my friends have played is commander. So I play commander. But yeah. So we'll do some commander matches on stream, but this is my first deck building stream. I figure I would just run with it and see what I could do. You never played commander? I enjoy it, and I like the multiplayer aspect of it. And I like the idea that I don't need 4 copies of every card, because I ran into that issue back when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Is I felt like I needed 3 copies of everything. Perhaps a silly question. It's not a silly question. It's a very standard question. Is Commander a style of game? Yes. So Magic the Gathering has multiple formats. And here, we will pull them up. So, Magic the Gathering has some very popular formats. So we look at Standard, which the way Standard works... Hey, Jay, welcome on in. Standard takes the last 5 sets. So right now that would be Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt, Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Strixhaven, and Kaldheim. Yeah. And then soon it's gonna take out Kaldheim and we're gonna get Kamigawa. But it takes that. It's a 60 card format. You can have up to 4 copies of a card, except for certain cards. And there's a much bigger banned list. Then you get into kind of its opposite. Historic. I'm skipping Commander for right now. Historic, which is basically any card in Magic, but it follows the same format. 60 cards, 4 copies of each card, and they'll ban cards as needed. Commander, you choose a legendary creature. So for instance, well, this camera, can I do this? Does that work? Just get a big flare on that. I have my commander, and I will build a deck around the commander that is 99 cards and can only have 1 copy of each card, except for very basic lands, which are like energy cards in Pokemon, is the best way to put it. There's also a bunch of other formats. Modern, which has the 60 card limit, but then you can also have 15 cards in your sideboard, and those are built to be best 2 out of 3. And there's a bunch. I know one of Jamie's favorite sets is Pauper, which means you can only use cards that are common rarity. Which there's quite a few that works for. So yeah, that's a bunch of the different formats. But we're primarily focused on Commander. And so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to pull my... I have also my set of colorless cards, and I'm going to just quickly... I'm pretty sure I added everything, but I think there's some blue mana rocks I should grab out of here. This is also where I have the most of my D&D cards, because there's a lot of artifacts in that D&D set. need blood tokens. Sorry, gonna try to run through this. Otherwise, hope everybody's doing well. If you have something fun going on this weekend, be sure to let us know so we can celebrate it for you. I think I'm just looking for mana rocks at this point. I have most of these in my set already. The other deck I thought about building was I have a dragon tribal concept I've been wanting to do, but the problem with that one is I don't have enough dragons. I would have primarily I would end up having primarily red-green dragons, and then I would have a couple other colors, which would be interesting. I already have command sphere. Don't need the other diamond. So yeah, really just looking for interesting cards set up. Pretty fun, but I'd save that. Let's see. Also, if y'all have any questions on like what I'm actually doing here, because right now it's just kind of picking cards. I wish I had an updated collection of my online ones that I could search. Also, Jay, thank you for reminding me we have a game this week, and I have to deal with someone being possessed by a demon. Love that for us. May include some severe boots. We'll see. Enjoy the lurk, Jay. Brainstone could be interesting. Sorry, this is the part that takes forever. Alright. You're wanting something to talk about. You know nothing about Magic, so if you want to explain what makes cards good or useful, that could be cool. Yeah, so I give a very... So, like, that depends. I mean, kind of with any card game, it depends. Because in at least the concepts I've been running, I have very specific effects I'm looking for. So if we talk about some of the cards, my monocolor pile. 3 examples here. So, looking at my dual color cards, we have Blade Stitch Scab. Makes my other zombies better. I'm running a tribal deck where the majority of my creatures are going to be zombies, and if they're not, they make zombies. So having something that boosts them up, even if it's just a +1 in the power, is usually pretty good. Next, we can look at Skull Scab, which has Exploit, and gives the effect of when any creature exploits a non-token creature, I get a token. So, depending on what kind of cards I have, I could be sacrificing and making a bunch of tokens in order to get stuff, get rid of things that are locked down by other cards, or cards that I don't need because I've already used what I needed out of them. Or if I need a card to die so that I can get its effect. And then finally, one that I probably won't include, but it's a really useful card, is the Baleful Strix. It has Flying and Death Touch. So basically, it's a 1/1. It's not going to last very long. But with Death Touch, it's going to kill whatever it hits. And Flying means it can hit land and air creatures. And then finally, when Baleful Strix enters the battlefield, draw a card. So now I get a pretty cheap creature that can kill whatever it hits, and I get to draw a card. So that's like 3 positives for that card. So that's just some examples of what you can do. You can then look at cards like these two, which I'm probably going to include. Dramatic Reversal, which is untap all non-land permanents you control. This can be useful in a number of ways. Untapping means they can now be used again, which means you can either get the effects out of them, or you can attack and or block with them, depending on what you need. So let's say I had a bunch of creatures with activated abilities, but I still want to attack with them. I could use this card and right before combat and attack. And then Imprisoned in the Moon, it's a lot like our Microscope game. And basically all it does is it locks down a creature, land, or planeswalker and turns it into a colorless land known as a waste. So what that means is it's only good for the new ability of it adds a colorless mana. And it will lose all its other abilities. That's a great way to get rid of something big, like look at Ulamog, for instance. Big creature. When you cast it, you exile 2 other permanents. Blah, blah, blah. So you could use... well, you wouldn't really get rid of the top ability, but you would get rid of Indestructible, and whenever it attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of his or her library. And then you just turn it into a 10 mana land, which isn't great at all. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. And I've gone through all of my easy stuff. Before I dive into blue, which is what I really need to get cards out of. So yeah, you're looking at mana cost, you're looking at the effect itself, and you're looking at how it may fit into your theme. And then going from there. So, now comes the fun part. And by that I mean the kind of tedious part, because now I have to go through my collection of blue cards and find what may be useful for that. Because I have a lot of my black. Actually, I need to see if I have the Headless Horseman card in here. I don't think I do. No, I don't. So, be looking at that. Oh, by the way, everybody, I'm gonna post it after the stream, but we actually have another casting call for a D&D show set in the Pugmire setting. So if you've ever wanted to play a dog or a cat, now's your chance. So, let's see. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, dude. Messages. So what I'm gonna... Here, let me try to do this on camera. It's gonna be a little hard to see, though, just with the way my setup is. Oh, right, yeah. Please see the... Go join our Discord. And you can do ! Discord. Thank you, Monk. You brought me back on track. Yeah, we have a Pugmire game being run by Monk. And Discord gets first dibs. They'll get about a week, and then I'll throw it to Twitter for a week. And then we'll process and figure out who wants to join, play, whatever. And go from there. So, right now, I'm looking for cards that might just be useful. I'm especially looking for sorceries and instants because I didn't have too many that fit the bill in black. Because I need more cancel cards. So like Counterspell or Bar the Gate's another good one. And then we'll see what I can do from there. Actually, the other deck I was looking at building was called Rogue's Gallery, and it has Xanathar as the commander. That could still be interesting to do one day. Some of these I'm having to really read because I haven't gotten to use them yet. Like, for instance... So, for instance, and I already went through these? No. For instance, looking at Trickster's Talisman. So it has Invoke Duplicity on it. Gives a +1/+1, and whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, you can sacrifice the talisman to create a copy of that creature. which can get really fun really fast. Because then what you can do is create a copy of something that makes a bunch of creatures when it enters the battlefield. Missed an island. Missed a couple islands. There's also a good chance for me to go through and see if I need to sort anything out of this set, because what I've been trying to do is separate lands and normal cards. Sometimes I miss some. So we have been through this stack of blue. I'll set it up over here. So yeah, I'm just looking for things that could be useful in the game. I'm also going to hit a point where I'm going to hit a bunch of blue zombies. That will definitely get added. Yeah, so like for instance, Larder Zombie. It's a defender. Tap 3 untapped creatures you control. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. Again, we want cards in our graveyard because we're a zombie deck, and we're going to be playing out of our graveyard as much as possible. Consider does the same thing, but only once, whereas Larder Zombie can do it multiple times. Don't want that. Yeah, anytime I see a zombie, I'm going to put it to the side. That way I can decide if it's worth putting in the deck. Also, my goal is to use only these lovely Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt, full art cards. Because I just love the lands. Geist Wave goes over here. Oh. And then I've been really looking for this card. So this is going to be a staple in the deck. Let me see if I can pull it up. There we go. Poppet Stitcher. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more creature tokens, you may transform Poppet Stitcher. Poppet Factory. Creature tokens you control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 3/3. That means they no longer have decay, which means now they can block and they don't die when they attack. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you may choose to transform Poppet Factory back to Stitcher. For me, though, I really want to use the factory side of it, because that's going to make all my zombies better. Whether they have decay or not, actually. So that one's pretty much guaranteed in the deck, especially for only 3 mana. Otherworldly Gaze is pretty good. And Locked in the Cemetery could be interesting. So, Locked in the Cemetery enters the battlefield. If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, tap Enchanted Creature. Enchanted Creature doesn't untap during its controller untap step. So you can lock down a creature until they get rid of that enchantment, which could be really interesting. We have an Organ Hoarder. A might be useful if I'm doing a lot of card draw, but probably not. I have the wizard class, which gives some card draw, and then basically you keep it out and you have no maximum hand size, which is pretty nice. Alright. Don't care. I'm hitting a lot of my Kaldheim cards, so we may be skipping some stuff. This needs to go in my commander set. I can tell I haven't touched the blue cards in a while. Bind Monster could be interesting. Thought Thief. Heartfelt Harbinger. So yeah, now we're kind of just looking through what we could build. Again, more blue commanders that should be in my commander set. Maria! What? What's up? Is it Zach? Wait. No, what? You're a VIP. You can post links. What is this? Hatsumiku x Kamigawa? What the fuck is this? Like, it makes perfect sense, but what the fuck is this? Oh, land? See, all my lands were hiding in blue. I guess I never got to them. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait. Y'all don't have sound. Well, I will enable sound real quick, I guess. Turn it off after. Alright, and it's weird? Alright, well, we gotta watch it then. I don't know if y'all are hearing it. Why is that audio not showing? Y'all weren't hearing it? Okay, yeah, I gotta... Ah, there was the problem. Hide. The cards. What the fuck is this? Like, the song's dope. You want an entire Vaporwave MTG deck? I think you can do that with Kamigawa. Alright, also, I'm gonna have to mute that part of the audio. And my camera crashed again. God damn it. Worth it. Probably won't upload this, to be honest. I've been all over the place. What a cool marketing stunt, right? Right? There's some good shit in there. Okay, let me get music back on. So yeah, and then I gotta reset spell table, which is unfortunate. Alright, close, and then see if I can pop it back on this way. No? It's gonna make me refresh the page? Okay. It gets mad if I don't, like, interact with it. It's a little unfortunate. Okay, go back to your art. Enjoy your lurk. Yeah, I found blue has a lot of counters to it, which is the main reason I wanted to check it out. The spell was cast from the graveyard. Investigate twice instead. That'd be good in the other one. Alright. Oh. Right, this is one I wanted to talk about. Let me see if I can get it to pull up. Yeah. So, this Reflections card, when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever you cast a spell of the chosen type, copy that spell. So, let's say I play, actually, let's say I play Wilhelm, just my commander. So I play my commander, because that's casting a spell. It's just from the command zone, and he's a zombie. I get 2 Wilhelms, which then means I'll get 2 of his effects. Where if another zombie dies, I get 2 zombie creature tokens with Decayed rather than 1. Which is neat. Real neat. So yeah. So also, chat, just quick check-in. Is this something y'all would like to see more of? Do you prefer more of our gameplay rather than deck building? Because also I'm starting to figure out what may be my next project for Ashen Works, which will probably take over the workshop if y'all would rather see more writing. Cradle of Safety is usually interesting. Don't want no freaking blood tokens, please. All the islands just got put in a pile. Oh yeah, this card's called Said and Done. Well, cool. So we will probably have at least one more of these. One card with 2 effects. Yep. So, like, cards can have multiple effects. This is one card that's basically 2 cards. And probably doesn't get picked up very well by the thingy. Probably have to look it up. There it is. Yeah, it even shows up sideways. So said, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand, or done. So you play one or the other. Tap up to 2 creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. So you can essentially lock down a card, or 2 cards. Inevitable Betrayal seemed interesting. You have to play it early. But you basically can steal someone else's card. Okay, now I'm starting to hit all of the Modern Horizon cards. So we are now getting. I'm gonna have to go back through my black set because I think I have cards that really needed blue, to feel like they were worth putting in. So there is that. Keeping all my legendary creatures separate so that way if I don't include them, they can go back in the right spot. But yeah, we have this. We'll have, fingers crossed, we'll have Enigma Institute this week. I know I was unfortunately pretty exhausted. Because y'all, job hunt sucks right now. It's like there's jobs, they just don't want to hire, or they take forever to hire, which is the other issue. Fear of Death could be a fun one. So Fear of Death. Oh, now I'm hitting the cards from our draft at PAX U. There's a lot of zombies in here. Trying to skip cards I already have put in. Gonna get difficult. Okay, I gotta show you all this card. That is a centaur, but with a horse head, carrying a lance. Is that not weird? Oh, if I already set this one over there. I did all those. Now starting to hit a bunch of spirits. This is also gonna be an interesting deck for me because I don't play blue, which usually requires having spare mana, and I tend to try to use all of my mana on my turn. So I'm gonna have to get in a mindset of not doing that. Again, I put cards in that should not be in this section. Which may explain why I haven't seen them for my other setups. Sure, I'll take more cards that let me steal from other players. I'm down for that. Alright. Warden Cannon would be really interesting, but I don't think I have a spot for him in my deck. He's a Planeswalker, costs 6, which is a little high. +2, draw 2 cards and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. See, that's already a problem. Because I want things in my graveyard, not in my library. As long as I have enough cards to draw, I'm good. I've definitely already added that one. There's also some different lands I'm going to have to grab, because now I can get access to blue-black lands. I already have Thirst for Discovery. Don't use spirits in this deck, so good on that front. Relearn. See? Okay, now I'm hitting more of the D&D cards, so we're gonna see me skipping quite a few of these. Because we've already seen them in other places. So we'll probably finish going through blue, and I'll talk about kind of what the next steps are, and then we'll wrap up. Because I know Atlas and I are talking soon, and I want to try to get some more food in me. This is a really high value card for what it does. Sorry, I should probably talk about that more. Here we go, Necro Duality. That's pretty much a shoo-in. Since it is used in 68% of all decks of this commander. Mental Journey. Draw 3 cards. Except it costs 6 to do, which is a lot of mana in comparison. Like, you can only put down 1 land per turn. Say you have a Soul Ring that puts you at, 3 mana total. And then it just could take a while to get there. That's an interesting card that would scare the crap out of me. Alright. So, the reason Necro Duality is so important is that it's used here. So whenever a non-token zombie enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So I get 2 of everything I put on the field, which is fantastic. Rooftop Storm, another good card. May pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for zombie creature spells that you cast. Combine these two, I am now getting free zombies forever. And now we're going to start hitting a lot of cards from that set that are good. So if I see the symbol that's for them, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it. All those cards were a part of it. Deal of removal. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Oh, so you had to play it early, but then people know you can do it, so then they have to be careful. I may have already included a counter spell, but that's fine. Mystic Redaction would be interesting. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1. Whenever you discard a card, each opponent mills 2 cards. So depending on what cards I have in my deck, that may be worth adding. Because what I could do is basically mill out my opponents by essentially just get rid of one card, get rid of their 2 cards, and then they won't be able to draw on their turn. I'm adding a bunch of counter spell style cards to this deck. I don't think they'll all make it into the final cut. Oh, wait. All right. And a couple more of the Midnight Hunt Commander cards show up. Card draw is nice, especially for 3 mana. All right. Be interesting. There we go. Forbidden Alchemy. Like the top 4 cards of the library. Put 1 in your hand and the rest in the graveyard. Except that's where I want them. Let's see. Sorry, I'm starting to see a bunch of cards that I haven't touched, so I'm like, do I want these? I don't know. And with that, and it's a lot for 3 cards. Okay. And with that, I've gone through my blue box. I still have to go through the black, but we're going to call it there. So the plan now is I have gone through blue. I'm going to basically just stack them all together. And I am going to go back through my black cards, which are over here. That'll be my next setup. I'm going to go through these and find any zombie cards I may have missed from last time that I want to reconsider, or any new stuff that we've gotten since then, because we have added quite a few cards. So I'm gonna do that off stream, and then I'll share on Twitter the deck list once I put it together, and we will more than likely try it out the next time we play Magic on the channel or in our Discord, because we do occasionally have Magic nights where we try out new concepts or whatever else we might want to do. So be sure to check us out. I know the socials link and the Discord just got posted, so both are worth checking out. Go follow our Twitter for when we put up that casting call, or if you want to see it early, head on over to Discord, and I'll be posting it here in the next couple hours. So, thank you all so much for watching. We're going to, I think I know who we're going to raid, but I'm going to go double check. We're going to go raid Zachary 20XX because, let's see, they are doing a learning how to speedrun Super Mario 64, and they're doing it as part of a 12-hour stream. And we support shenanigans like that, so make sure I spelled the username right. Channel is for mature audiences, just heads up. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do that. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Brandon, aka Ashenworks. Join our Discord, go check out our socials, and we will see you all on Wednesday. And keep an eye out for new shows coming soon. All right, bye everybody.